I'm Darrell Briggs, sound mixer, and today we're on a 1970s police station set.
And I'm Peter Davis, first assistant sound on this project.
So this series is the second series of one that I've worked on before, and essentially they're real life sort of murder stories tend to be quite dark and gruesome, and so they're kind of narrated by somebody connected to the victim generally. And we just shoot the drama elements of that story. It generally involves, often they're set in the 70s or 80s. There's some historic cases, there's some modern day cases, but they're all fairly dark, aren't they? I think it's safe to say, yeah.
Yeah.
So today we're on a set build, which is fantastic for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real controlled environment. We're filming in Norfolk on a stage. And so for us, shooting on a set is it's kind of the easiest part of our job. And also we're sort of unrestricted. We do a lot of location work on this particular show, and they can restrict you in a number of ways. That they're generally quite small, particularly once you've piled a whole film crew and equipment into it. And for Peter booming particularly, you can find himself wedged in a corner between a lamp and a wardrobe or something, and not and a DOP, and not necessarily in a position where he can physically, cover a room full of dialogue as he needs to. And so, to work on a space like this, it gives us the freedom to do what we want basically, and gives Peter the freedom to cover all the dialogue. We were shooting from one side of the river across the river, as the police and forensic team investigate this sort of washed up body on the bank of a river.
I had to go full length on the pole, which was just over 5 meters.
Just over 5 meters.
I mean, normally I would be on a shorter pole, but to give the DOP range to find things, because he's picking up little components, I had to go really long pole on that one. Having what did we have in it? We had
the medium cyclone and a 416 on that occasion.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as heavy as people would think, but it looks big, but it's not that heavy. It's manageable with a pneumatic.
The smaller and lighter you can make that microphone and windshield assembly at the end of it, the easier it is. And what that means is that you can hold that pole for longer, steadier. There's a limit to how long you can hold a pole like that with any weight on the end of it, before arms start trembling, and that induces noise along the pole, which is in turn picked up by the microphone, no matter how good that suspension is. The cyclone suspension is a big improvement, in my opinion, over the modular. So in terms of boom-mounted microphones, we use we run 3 MKH50 microphones and a 416. So we use the 50s for almost exclusively for interiors, and the 416 for exteriors. And then other microphones we use, we there's a lot of radio miking in this, because of the pace that it works at, and in order not to be caught out, as can happen when plans change. So we use COS 11Ds as the microphone heads on those. And the only other microphones we really use on this are the Sanken Cubs, which we use in car a lot.
Car rigs.
There's a lot of car stuff in this actually, and so they're a very good microphone to plant in a car. Sound much better than just hiding a lavalier microphone in a visor. And particularly those car scenes, very often, particularly, obviously if they're driving, you can't get a boom microphone in, so they blend quite nicely with the 50 actually, and so that would become a sort of boom replacement in those scenarios. And we'll occasionally use them as a plant in a set somewhere as well. We used one the other day, didn't we, in a huge wide shot with about 7 people around the table, and there just happened to be a pendant light right in the middle of the table, and just for the wide shot, although everyone's wired up as well, to give something with a slightly richer sound, that we managed to hide Cub up in the pendant light, which just gave us something a little bit more than just the radio mics.